NXT 2.0 this week was not as bad as normal. There you go. There's the positive review of this. It has some great matches with some bad booking. Welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of NXT 2.0. I am your longest reigning, greatest champion of all time, Chopper Pete Quin. I'm joined by the longest reigning, greatest Quizlemania champion of all time. I didn't talk properly. Tempest the Wrestler. Woo!
Boom. That's
Let's
me.
Go.
No defenses. Let's go.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry,
Pacifist
I explained
run.
this on the podcast intro and outro bits. I can hear myself on the audio setup that I've got. I'm getting feedback in my headset of me, and I hate it. It's tripping me out. So if I stop talking properly, that's why, because I can hear myself, and it's tripping me out, and I don't like it. But let's talk about NXT. Because I think the thing that exemplified this great matches, bad booking philosophy that was present on this show was the main event match, which, in theory, I was really excited for. Pete Dunne versus Carmelo Hayes, North American champion Carmelo Hayes, which is, I thought, going into this match, Pete Dunne is someone who's been protected quite a lot. Carmelo Hayes, new North American champion. If Carmelo gets the win here, even if it's a screwy finish... I did it again. Even if it's a screwy finish, I have to really concentrate on the words I'm saying. Even if it's a screwy finish, Carmelo gets a big win on a big talent that's been protected on NXT. An NXT veteran, you know? A guy who's been positioned in the NXT championship picture for ages. That's not what happened on this, though. Pete Dunne just kind of won. Johnny Gargano was there, and Dexter Lumis was on commentary. He didn't say anything, obviously, but he was there on the commentary desk with the headset, and he punched Trick Williams on the outside, and then Carmelo got a little bit distracted, and then Johnny Gargano, with the Dexter Lumis hand, he grabbed Carmelo's foot, and then he tripped, and then Pete Dunne hit the bitter end, and then Pete Dunne won. Which is not how I would have booked this.
No,
But it was
it's
great
not.
match.
It was, and that I still want that to be the biggest takeaway, was that I saw that match and I was like, ooh, that's going to be good. And then it was. It was very much like the old NXT, where you got largely unimportant undercards and then a great main event every week. There was a good stretch there where we were getting great main events every single week. And this was a great main event. The match itself, I thought, was excellent. It was fantastic. That being said, you remember when Pete Dunne just randomly beat Ilya Dragunov and it was stupid and led to nothing? They just did it again.
They sure did.
What? And we got a lot of comments after that Pete Dunne Ilya Dragunov thing was like, well, just let it play out. Now you've set up a challenger for Ilya Dragunov, which didn't happen. It was just dumb booking, you know? And now you could have very easily have given Carmelo Hayes one of the biggest wins of his NXT career. And they just chose not to do that. And I said in the edited review this week, we have not had an NXT North American champion win a singles match on NXT since Johnny Gargano was champion. And that, like, excluding Swerve's title defense against Santos Escobar right before he lost it to Carmelo Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the only one. The last time that the North American champion won a match on NXT, a singles match on NXT, not a takeover like the weekly show, was January. Johnny Gargano beat Dexter Lumis in a singles match. And since then, the North American champion has not won a singles match on this show. That's so completely ass backwards.
It sure is.
Oh my lord.
I don't understand what the thought process was. What I don't get is, why is Pete Dunne so protected like he is? Like you mentioned with the Ilya Dragunov stuff, and with this against Carmelo Hayes. Like, it felt like they were protecting him for an NXT title run, right? Or at least an NXT title shot at the very least. And he kind of sort of got it in the Fatal 5-Way against Karrion Kross, but that doesn't really count. And then since then, he just keeps winning, but not really doing anything with those wins. It's just, I don't really understand the booking. What's he being protected for? That's the thing. It's fair enough if you want to protect a talent for something, but it seems like he's just being protected because they like him, not because they actually have any solid plans for him. Yeah. And that's the defining factor for this, which is why I think it was bad booking, because Pete Dunne doesn't need to be protected for anything. You shouldn't, diminish him completely by any means. But this can make a star out of Carmelo Hayes by getting a huge win over Pete Dunne, especially if it was clean. And you don't do that. You have the opportunity right there, and you choose to protect Pete Dunne again for nothing, right? I love Pete Dunne. I think he's a great talent, but they're not using him in anything significant right now, and you can use that. You can give that shine to Carmelo Hayes, and Pete Dunne isn't really going to lose that much because he's been protected so much in the past. I don't know.
Yeah. That's fine. I see. It's crazy because you can do both things. You can protect Pete Dunne and Carmelo Hayes at the same time. You just don't book this match.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it was a great match, but you can book other great matches as well, and Pete Dunne, because of where he's at storyline wise and everything, where he doesn't really have a whole lot going on, he's here on the NXT roster. He's a protected star, but he's not doing anything. He's not involved in a storyline. Meanwhile, you've got guys that should be up here, Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, who are wrestling for big championships and everything. But Pete Dunne keeps beating them when he's down here and they're up here. And that's not how it's supposed to work. You should have the guys up here that are really doing things. They should be the ones protected at the absolute foremost. And they're not doing that. They have a real thing about beating their champions.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I really hate it.
Yeah, I don't understand at all. And it's always it's one thing to be a guy that is clearly could have had a star-making performance by winning here, which was Carmelo Hayes. But it's another thing to just pin your champion, which was also Carmelo Hayes here. I don't understand the logic and the mindset they have going into this. I don't get why they would book this. But let's be positive for a minute here. The booking was bad. The match I thought was fantastic. Even with all the shenanigans towards the end, I think Trick Williams doesn't necessarily add a lot to Carmelo Hayes' act. And in this match, a lot of it was just Carmelo and Pete wrestling. And that's where Carmelo shines best. That's when these two put on a great match. They went back and forth for ages, and it was good. It got a lot of time, which a lot of matches in NXT these days don't get. There's an awful lot of squash matches. This got a bit of time to shine. And I think if you literally just had a long match, a long competitive match, take it 15, 20 minutes, and you had Carmelo win clean after a couple of near falls from Pete Dunne, I don't really think Pete Dunne gets diminished all that much. This is a huge rising star of Carmelo Hayes and someone that he probably underestimated. You can totally tell that story, and Pete Dunne can come back and get some wins against some other people in a few weeks after. I really don't think it's that difficult to protect Pete Dunne. I know I said I started off that as a positive point, and I ended on a negative point somehow.
That's NXT for you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think this episode of NXT definitely benefited from cutting back on the amount of squash matches. There were a few matches that went through commercial breaks for a change, as opposed to everything in the weeks that have preceded this have just been 2-minute match, dumb skit, move on. And that cram all that into 5 minutes, and you do that for 2 hours, and then that's it. That is not how I would book a wrestling show, personally. So when they do this show, and you start with a 6-woman tag that gets a decent amount of time and is good, and you've got the tag match with the Creed brothers, it goes through a commercial break and is pretty decent, and then you got a really strong main event. I can take some positives away from that. But the book, it's like having good performances in a poorly written show. I'm probably still not going to watch the show if the writing is bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tricky line to walk, especially when you had a well-performed show with good writing.
Yeah.
And they killed it.
And they decided colors.
Yeah, colors. This show needs more colors.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's a shame. But anyway, we'll get into more of NXT in a second here. We'll get into some of your Ultrachats now. Also, I wanted to mention, because I didn't mention it at the top of the show, we are sponsored, as you've seen by the logo on the screen, by Beer 52. They are wonderful people. They have sponsored us so much lately and in previous years gone by. You can get a free crate of craft beer, 10 free beers by going to beer52.com/WrestleTalk, UK viewers only. All you have to do is pay for the postage of $5.95. You can get your own crate sent out to you. It's lovely. They're very tasty. If you don't like a certain kind of beer, you can choose to get another kind of beer. It's great. You get snacks, magazines. It's all good. Craft beers. Go get them. beer52.com/WrestleTalk. Link at the top of the description. And probably in the live chat. Thanks.
Yep.
Go do it.
Can't confirm.
They're great. We love them. Also, get in your Ultrachats at WrestleTalk.com/support, because we're going to go through all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. Nate S. says, when Tempest said, they're building to a poker game. This is a wrestling show. All I could think was when Street Profits and Viking Raiders played basketball and axe throwing and track and field. NXT 2.0 is Raw. I'm going to talk about this more later. I've got points about it. But yes, in short, TLDR, yes, I agree.
It is. And I don't want to watch Raw. I'm very fortunate that I don't have to watch Raw. So when NXT starts turning into Raw, I get really concerned. Like, really concerned. For the sake of the show and my own mental well-being.
Yeah. I'll talk about specifically what kind of Raw I think it is when we get to that segment later on, because it's not just Raw. It's a certain kind of Raw, which we'll talk about more later. Riot DR says, WWE programming isn't a wrestling show. It is a show about a wrestling show. I have accepted this. But why are we building a feud around poker? Grimes is a great wrestler and should be doing great wrestling. Just saying. I know. Why are they building to a poker? I'll talk about it more later. But yes, I agree with you. Why are they doing that? It's fine, I promise. Right, we'll get into more of your Ultra Chats later on. Keep sending those in at WrestleTalk.com/support, and we'll read out all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. But for now, let's talk about the rest of NXT, which started off with Toxic Attraction coming out for the 6-women tag against Io Shirai, Kaden Carter, and Casey Catanzaro. They said that Zoe Stark has a torn ACL. I assume that is legit. In which case, that sucks for Zoe Stark. Sorry to hear that. I hope you have a speedy recovery. And hopefully when she comes back, she'll be in a storyline of some kind of substance, because I think she has a lot of upsides to her, but she's just been handed a pretty rough hand lately. So yeah, fingers crossed for Zoe Stark. Speedy recovery. But the match itself, I thought was pretty good. I liked this. They got given a decent amount of time. It was botchy in places, but it's a developmental show, so I guess you're supposed to expect that kind of thing. But yeah, it was decent. It put over who it needed to put over. Toxic Attraction got the win in the end. And I thought the finish was decent. You know, they won kind of sort of clean. You know, within the normal rules of a 6-woman tag, to a degree. There wasn't anything illegal going on. It was a bit of a distraction, but that's not illegal. Yeah, it was good. Toxic Attraction won.
Yeah.
Good.
I will give them credit for starting with a match. I cannot tell you how much more I like a show right off the bat when I turn on my wrestling and I see some wrestling. You know, it would take something monumental for me to be like, okay, first thing on the show, let's see a promo, you know, like it would need to be something special. You know, Daniel Bryan wins the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 30. Yeah, he should come out and open the show with a promo. Otherwise, Give me a wrestling match. And so they did. So Gold Star, good job NXT. And I thought this match was pretty good. You know, if they're gonna put all the titles on Toxic Attraction, I want to see the three of them win. And they won. And that's not something that you're guaranteed on this show, as we saw in the main event. But an extra thing, I like Gigi Dolan's finisher. It's got it's like an abdominal stretch driver thing. I think it's neat, and I like it. Doesn't really like add a whole lot to the match, but I thought that move is pretty cool.
I agree. I think it's neato. And I like that Dolan got the win, not Mandy Rose here, because the normal thing to do with how they've been portraying Toxic Attraction as a whole is that Mandy is the one that gets the wins, and the other two have just kind of got the tag titles, but they're not as important as Mandy. I like that Gigi got the pin here, is to actually like make all three of them look dominant. Good
Stuff.
I like that.
Solid booking. This was not the part of the show that made me pull my hair out.
No. Pete Dunne did a promo backstage where Carmelo Hayes interrupted. I guess Pete Dunne is a face now?
He doesn't have Ridge Holland anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did a promo which set up their main event match later on. Toxic Attraction is still celebrating. We go back to the ring and Kaylee Ray comes out. And we had KLR versus Sarray, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first, because pacing, we had an MSK promo.
These guys are dorks. Luke's right.
They are obnoxious, aren't they?
I hate these two.
They're not.
How did they do this?
I wanted.
I just wanted to like MSK and NXT. But I just wanted to really like MSK. And they are like purposefully sabotaging these two. Oh my god. Were they walking for a whole week?
What are they doing? Where are they going?
I don't
know. Understand.
Can we just have our top tag team vow revenge against the team that beat them for the titles?
I don't know. They got to a place, and the place said, our address has moved. So then they looked up the address and they said, it's 420 miles away, or 412, or however much they said. Blaze it. And then they said they got to fly. And they said, I'm flying right now. And then the segment ended.
It is a sketch show. You know, we said last week that this is a sketch show masquerading as a wrestling. No, they're not good sketches.
They're not good.
I would not trust these people to write comedy with my life. If gun to my head, they were like, you will die if they cannot write a funny comedy sketch, I'd be like, all right, pull the trigger, I'm done. I'm not even going to stick around to see it because I'm not spending my last few moments watching an NXT comedy segment. Oh, man.
Why can't you just make MSK good?
Speak his name and he shall appear.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
After that, we got Kaylee Ray versus Sarray. And you know what? I also thought this was a good match. I really like this because Sarray has been mildly protected. You know, she went on a little undefeated streak when she came in, and then she lost a couple times in like tag matches. I feel like this is her first singles loss. I might be wrong on that, but I feel like this is her first singles loss, unless I've missed a few weeks here and there, which I might have. But yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I thought both of them looked great. I thought the pacing was really good. The actual like technical wrestling side of this was really, really good for this match. Kaylee Ray looked pretty dominant in victory. She hit a gory bomb onto the commentary table and then another gory bomb in the ring to get the win. That was good. Also, Sarray's like roll through into a leaning back single leg Boston Crab was awesome. Sarray's really good.
Can confirm. Sarray's great. She did lose to Dakota Kai earlier in the year.
There you go.
That was a thing that happened. I wish that they would have done a little bit more with Sarray this year. you know?
Yeah.
Because she came in, it's like, here's the next big Japanese signing, the next Io Shirai, the next Kairi Sane, the next Asuka. Nah, I mean, she hasn't done anything. She won matches for a while and then just kind of disappeared a little bit. And if she was going to be a big deal, you know, a match against Kaylee Ray should be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't. It was the second match on the show, and it was fine, but it was still like fairly short in comparison with what it could have been. It is what it is. They're going to protect Kaylee Ray, and I don't think they're wrong in doing that. I just wish that this match would have been a little bit more significant.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I don't mind Kaylee Ray getting a significant win here. That's good. Later on, Mandy Rose said, Kaylee Ray, do you think that thing was supposed to intimidate me? The standoff was supposed to intimidate me. It didn't. So they're kind of positioning a lot of women going for Mandy Rose's title, which is good. I like that.
Yeah.
After that, Joe Gacy did a promo. And it wasn't terrible. I feel like it was close to having a point. It didn't have a point, but I feel like it was close to one. So we're sort of maybe getting there with Joe Gacy.
It's a little bit of progress.
Mm.
It's not a ton, but it's better than whatever he was doing the first few weeks.
Yes, that much is
You know, it was closer to what he was saying last week, where he was talking about Harland and whatnot, but I'd rather have him doing that on his own than in an interview.
Yes.
I think when you can overproduce a spooky thing like that and have him be talking to the screen, I think it comes across better than Joe Gacy. What are your thoughts on Harlan?
I'm doing this for Harland.
Yeah.
Etc. Yes.
Whatever.
It's fine. But then he said he's going to be facing Boa, and I went, oh God. Because as we saw last week, Boa did the old fusion dance with
Whoa! Activate polymerization. I have it this week. Activate polymerization. Mei Ying just doesn't exist anymore.
No.
They have become one. Someone needs to activate defusion to get them separated.
They have quite literally become one. They've fused their gimmicks together. So Boa now has the face paint. He wrestled a bit of a match, and then at one point in the match, the lights start flickering, and Boa just goes like, looking up with the thing, and does like the choke thing that Mei Ying did into the ropes enough to where he gets DQ'd. And then Joe Casey is like, haha, I won! And Boa walks off.
This might have been the worst thing I've seen on NXT this year.
This was proper shit.
Yeah.
This is real bad.
you know, this was real bad. This was main roster bad. It was Extreme Rules again. They saw that thing that everyone hated and went, that's what we're doing. That's what's next on NXT. And that's how I know that these people are so out of touch. They're so out of touch that they can see something that didn't work and people hated, and they will do it again.
Yeah.
That's dumb. And literally all of this was like after they went to the ring with the worst combination of two guys as far as my personal enjoyment. You could not have booked a match I would want to see less than Joe Gacy against Boa. Like, if you added Dexter Lumis to this and made it a three-way, I probably would have quit. I would have called in sick and said, someone else watch it. I'm done.
Incredible. My notes for this after the lights flickering stuff. As I did the choke thing and Mei Ying did and gets himself DQ'd. I don't care. What was my next note after that? It's bad. We then got a little Diamond Mine promo where they were playing back. They had like a projector playing back the Ika Majiro and Kushida promo from last week. Them saying, the stuff that they were saying about being Japanese. That's a thing. Oh, we're going to get to that in a minute. Diamond Mine reacted to the promo. I'm really digging Diamond Mine's presentation now. I think now they've got the extra members. I feel like the presentation is really it's clicking with me now. With Malcolm Bivens talking about it and him saying how they're gonna F them up, and they all come and look at the camera, and all of them together just look like a complete unit now. It's good. I'm digging it. Really like Diamond Mine now.
Yeah. They had a very rough start. They failed in like their first 10 attempts to make a good first impression. But the 11th impression was really good. And since then, I think they have been clicking a lot more. It's just the presentation. The matches, obviously we've seen more matches because they've added new members, but the matches themselves haven't been super different or anything. They're just distinct now. They have a purpose. They have a thing. And it's a good thing. It's different. It's sports-based, which I like. You can always sign me up for that. You've got Malcolm Bivens doing the talking for you. It's a good little stable. Big fan of Diamond Mine right now.
Yeah. We then had Solo Sikoa backstage, and then Grayson Waller interrupted, and then LA Knight interrupted, and then that set up a triple threat later.
Yeah.
Cool.
I almost don't want to bring it up because I feel like you can kind of say this about every WWE show, but I'd really like to know, I'd like a day in the life of general manager of NXT, of Adam Pearce, of whatever, where they go in, they start the show, and they have 2 matches announced, and then they make it the rest of it up as they go along. They didn't have a main event for this show when they started. They didn't have this triple threat match planned. Nope. In storyline, all WWE authority figures are bad at their jobs.
Yeah.
I just find that hilarious.
It's baffling is what it is.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Then we got Diamond Mine versus the team of Ike Majura versus Kushida, who are now called Jacket Time.
Jacket Time.
No.
Yeah. Yes, Pete.
Oh. Jacket Time. Because you see, Ike Majura wears jackets, and Kushida has a little gimmick about time, you see? So they're called Jacket Time. This is like Air Boom levels of terrible.
Oh, why you gotta bring up Air Boom?
Air Boom is such a bad name.
Air Boom. I remember that one being the dumbest thing I'd ever heard as a 13 or 14-year-old. I was 14 when they came out with that. And I was you easily could have called this the Air Squad or the Air Kings.
Sure.
Air
Boom.
Air Boom. It's okay, one guy's name is Airborne. The other guy is the leader of the Boom Squad. Air Boom.
Yeah.
Not Air Squad. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Air Boom. Jacket Time.
Jacket Time. Jacket Time. This is Kushida. This is Kushida, Tempest.
Someone save my boy. This
former
poor man.
IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Kushida is in a tag team called Jacket Time. Oh boy.
Oh man.
You
know what shows I'd rather watch probably? Perhaps AEW Dark Magician Girl. Perhaps Sorcerer of AEW Dark Elevation Magic. Perhaps
that was convoluted.
It's a long name. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Perhaps know what? I'm not gonna say AEW Dark Hole, even though I just did. AEW Dark Magician.
Again.
Look at that old one. It's holographic, I think. Yeah, it is. It's holographic. Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Old ass card. AEW Dark Elevation Paladin.
I feel like you're just saying the same shows.
I am. There are only so many shows called Dark, and there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards with Dark in the name. So give me a break. I like this card. This card's pretty.
Oh man.
designed one of my mask templates based on this guy's color palette just because I think
really?
he's sexy. Yeah, look
That's
at him.
cool. That's
Greens and yellows and blues. I like that. Anyway, yeah, this show.
A Jacket Time faced the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers won. Hit a huge gut wrench powerbomb on Ikemenjiro. Odyssey Jones came out and cleared out Diamond Mine afterwards.
Cool. Where does this lead with Odyssey Jones?
I don't know.
I think Lori's right. I think Odyssey Jones is going to win the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah. I can see it.
You know?
I can see it.
Change that show to 305 Live.
Mm-hmm. Legit.
I don't even know if he would make 305 Live.
Wasn't that a thing? Didn't someone call themselves 305 Live?
I don't know. I know the Observer folk ran the Overweight Classic a few years ago.
I feel like it was Ivar of the Viking Experience. Whenever he did like a cartwheel, the commentators were like, "Oh, 305 Live," or something like that.
Yeah.
That was dumb. Anyway.
This wasn't the segment on this show that I hated to the point that I would hijack it with Yu-Gi-Oh puns.
No, we've not got there yet.
Yeah.
Jacket time, Tempest. All right, stop. Jacket time.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. I've got a perfect one. I don't know what that card is. It could have been the Jacket Time Wizard. Oh. Damn it.
Isn't that what Ikemenjiro actually is? He's the Jacket Time Wizard?
He's the Jacket Time Wizard.
Oh, my God. Anyway.
Oh.
Toxic Attraction do a promo backstage talking about what's her name? Kaylee Ray. And then Raquel Gonzalez comes in on a motorbike and says, "Keep my title warm, I'm coming for you in a little bit. But first I need to deal with Dakota Kai." And she goes down to the ring and calls out Dakota Kai. And Dakota Kai, who I think is your new favorite wrestler, right, Tempest? You love Dakota Kai's character and her acting of said character. Did a promo where she did the little head twitches and she's creepy. She's got her hair in front of her face now, so she's creepy, you see. And then Cora Jade came out and started attacking Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez was like, "Hey, look, Cora Jade, I know you want a piece of her, but I'm first, all right? Stay out of my way." Cool. This was all right.
It was fine. It was fine. I don't like this Dakota Kai thing.
I know you don't.
You know, and I don't hate the idea of it. That she's broken or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the idea is, really. But, like, if she's doing some kind of I'm broken inside gimmick, that's okay. It's just, come on. Like, every time I see it, I cringe. Because it's so overacted. And when there's, like, 4 different people on this show that they come out and I was like, oh my God. That's not very good. You know? It's like Dakota Kai, Boa, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lumis has been fine. He's been behaving lately. But depending on the situation, possibly Dexter Lumis. That's a lot of segments that have people that I can't stand watching. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough.
That is rough. But it was fine, in my humble opinion. Andre Chase then did the same joke. Again.
He's got
doing
one.
a lecture. And then someone says something and then he kicks him out of the class. It was funny the first time. It is not funny the 5th time.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. I think I said last week, they spend so much time on people who just lose in 2 minutes. Why do we get so many of these Andre Chase vignettes? Build up the people that win matches.
But Tempest, it's a sketch show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And this was a sketch. Speaking of sketches, we got a Grizzled Young Veterans promo. What the hell was this?
This was right out of like the 80s or the early 90s. I would imagine like the Bushwhackers doing this.
Right? So, okay, break it down for me. So, they were on the streets, and then they did a scam, I think?
Yeah.
To get food?
Yeah, they robbed a man.
Yeah. And like that was it. That's like the whole thing, right? Was they did a scam, they got some food. Yay? Profit?
I could see how people would have liked this 30 years ago.
Okay, sure.
You know, like the idea of the heel team that distracts everyone going out there and doing real world training of distracting people and cheating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With a different team, I probably wouldn't have hated this. You know, I would have thought like, oh, that's a little funny sketch. You know, let's go out there and practice. Well, we're not going to practice wrestling. We're going to practice our sneakiness. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do not think the Grizzled Young Veterans are the team to be doing really dumb comedy sketches with.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought this was linked to the MSK thing.
Oh, they were going to meet up?
I thought they were going to, like, meet up. Or, like, you know, they'd have, like, a third skit where they would interact or something. Because they were shot exactly the same. Yeah. So I thought that they would, like, be linked. And they looked like they were in, like, a similar place for location for filming as well. So I thought they were going to interact, and they didn't.
I'm telling you, Pete, they're never going to do that match.
That is a great question, Duff's 101. What is the payoff of this?
What's the payoff for a 5-minute comedy sketch?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway.
This is like my favorite tag team in all of WWE.
Oh, God, yeah, they're so good, right?
They're so good.
I love Grizzled.
They're just the best. Much. And I love them more every time I watch them wrestle.
Yeah.
They just don't let me watch them wrestle very often.
No. And then we got...
Break it down for me, Pete.
Okay. So we got Cameron Grimes versus Ru Feng. It was an enhancement match. Cameron Grimes wins. Cave in after a couple minutes. Cool. Duke Hudson was watching after the whole poker thing that they did last week, the series of skits across the whole show. 3 of them last week, where Cameron Grimes won. After the match, Duke Hudson gets in the ring, and the two go back and forth with quite a long promo. This was fairly lengthy, where Duke Hudson was like, "You embarrassed me at poker." And Cameron Grimes was like, "Yeah, I'm Cameron Grimes." And he was like, "No, but you embarrassed me at poker." And Cameron Grimes was like, "Yeah, because I'm Cameron Grimes." And then Duke Hudson said, "I can't let this go." And Cameron Grimes was like, "Hey, man, I might like to play dumb, but I played you last week." And everyone went, "Oh." And then Duke Hudson said, "You know what? No, I can't let this go. I won't let this go. Next week, it's going to be you and me in a poker showdown."
At what point how did we get here? Can someone who is the person responsible? Show yourself.
Oh my God.
I don't think Vince sits down and writes NXT. I think he's got more important things to do. But I think it's one of his people doing this. You know, I don't know if it's Bruce Pritchard or whoever, but genuinely, these people have no place writing wrestling.
No, not at all.
Oh my God.
You've done the sketch where you played poker, so now you've built to a poker showdown the following week. You're wrestlers on a wrestling show. Wrestle a match. I swear to God. Why does this have like 3 weeks build to go to a poker showdown, and then like you have stuff on the same show where you have a backstage interaction like main event match right there? I don't understand this show.
Like, I thought that this promo was pretty good. I thought the promo itself was pretty good. I thought Duke Hudson came out and he was like, "You humiliated me in the poker room, and I can't let that stand." And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know, he doesn't like losing at poker. That's cool.
Continuity.
And
that's good.
Yeah, and Cameron Grimes is like, haha, I'm Cameron Grimes, and I might people might think that I'm a hick and blah blah blah, but I'm Cameron Grimes. And I was like, okay, we're gonna build to a match. It's probably gonna be a good match, and we can move on. And then they're like, hey, we're gonna play poker, and I was like, what? What?
No, I don't know. That's the answer. Is I don't know.
See, you see the title is 2 sentences. This was the second one.
Yeah.
This is some bad booking.
Sure was.
Bad booking. I saw someone in the chat. It might be a poker themed street fight.
It could be. And you know
and
what?
If
we'll
you do that,
words.
if you do that, fair play, I guess. If it's a poker themed street, when they said poker showdown, I assumed we are going to do poker in the ring.
Yes. 100%.
Which sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That sounds horrible, like horrible television.
Yeah.
If it's a poker themed street fight, maybe. But at the same time, you got to say that. Because right now, having heard Poker Showdown, I'll be like, I am not watching NXT if I have a choice next week.
Like, there's no precedent for a Poker Showdown being a wrestling match. Mm-hmm. So you should explain that to your fans if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Hey ho.
Bollocks.
It's fine. After that, we got a triple threat of Solo Sikoa versus Grayson Waller and LA Knight. This was fine.
I like this.
This was all right.
I like Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa won, by the way.
Yeah. Good. He's cool. I mean, he's the third Uso.
He's an Uso.
He wrestles like an Uso. He looks like an Uso.
Call him an Uso?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Solo Uso.
That's fine.
Yeah. But he looks like an Uso. He wrestles like an Uso. He hits a finish like an Uso. And the Usos are good. So having another one is good. That will increase your average on a wrestling show. And I like this match. I like that they were kind of doing like Grayson Waller and LA Knight don't like each other, but they know they kind of have to team up because Solo Sikoa is kind of running wild on both of them. They can't really do it. That falls apart. Solo Sikoa manages to hit his little double power bomb in the corner. That was cool. And then wins with a splash. This was solid booking, solid match. Everything just kind of made sense here. I don't really care about LA Knight and Grayson Waller feuding, but
no.
I like seeing Solo Sikoa win matches. So I got to see that, and I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yep. After that, Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta had a backstage promo. Another thing I just didn't understand. They really seem to be like shoehorning in. Do you remember this Dexter storyline that you used to like? Do you remember Indy Hartwell and Dexter? Here's references to it without actually like doing the storyline on screen.
Yeah, they kind of killed Index at this point.
Yeah, they should.
Which I don't care about because I didn't like that storyline. Yeah, I'm fine with that, but I'm just like
surprised.
What was the point of the whole thing? They built to a wedding angle, and then they dropped the storyline.
Dexter said, "I do, Tempest." That's what the whole thing was for.
I guess you can't really get better than that.
Sure.
I mean, the peak is him speaking. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, go on.
Yeah. Indy was just like...
The Gabagoo, the guy showed up sleeping with the fishes.
Hold up. We're getting there. Because Indy Hartwell said that she had her hands on the women's tag titles just like she touches her sexy Dexy. And I was like, can we not? Is it possible to not? Just like I said, showing in these references to Dexter, but it's fine. Then, hey, it's Tony.
It's the
He's here.
gabagool sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah, and he gave a fish to give to Indy to give to Dexter.
Because you're going to be sleeping with the fishes.
He's gonna be sleeping with the fishes. Yeah.
He's going to kill Dexter Lumis.
Yes.
Cool.
He has precedent for that. He's literally kidnapped the producer of Lashing Out with Lash Legend.
He's a criminal.
He could murder a man.
Yeah. I mean, Dexter Lumis has kidnapped a man. Maybe they'll have a kidnapping showdown.
Ooh, perfect. That's what this should lead to. A comedy sketch featuring kidnapping.
They've done it before.
Book it.
Book it, Vince.
God almighty. Oh, God, we've still got more of the show to talk about. I thought we were finished. Elektra Lopez is now the leader of Legado del Fantasma?
Feels that way.
Where's Santos?
How did this happen? Yeah.
Where is Santos Escobar? What's he done lately? Other than losing to Swerve.
He didn't take that loss well.
No.
I don't know.
I genuinely think they have literally just gone, Elektra Lopez is now the leader. She always was. Always. Always was the leader. What are you talking about? Which is weird to me, because Santos was like one of the best bit of Legado del Fantasma.
Mm-hmm.
They've just replaced him with a less good bit.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever. Elektra Lopez had a squash match. She won in like a minute.
It was bad.
It was not great.
I thought this was a bad match.
Yeah.
You know?
It
wasn't long. Yeah. Yeah.
But then, okay. Elektra Lopez says she wants Xyon Quin to come out from last week where she said she was impressed with his match. And she got Xyon Quin to come out and she said, hey, how would you like to join Legado del Fantasma? And Xyon Quin said, no.
He does not meet the Spanish requirements to join this group.
Exactly. Yeah. So then he tried to walk away, and Wacky Wild and Raul Mendoza were like, hey, no one says no to Legado del Fantasma, and tried to push him from behind. What did they do? They didn't attack him. They just kind of went like, ah!
They like slapped him on the back. They were like, hey!
Hey, you! And then he turned around and beat them both up. And then Elektra tried to punch Xyon Quin, but he grabbed the one hand. She tried to punch him with the other hand. He grabbed both, and then he twisted her around. And then it was, it's a sexy stare down between them. Ooh, romantic tension. And then Xyon Quin walked off.
The index thing is dead. We need a new sexy romance going on.
It's Xylo. I hate the fact I just said that. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they're going to phone each other? Randy Andy Datsun. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I don't want to. I don't care.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, it's like it's fine. I don't know. I don't care. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't get how, on the NXT 2.0 relaunch first couple of weeks, Xyon Quin was the mute, tough guy who came out and just beat people up and then left. And that's what Xyon Quin did. And I thought he was really good at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've now suddenly decided, as of last week, he's the ultra charismatic dude who came out and did the HBK singing thing. And now he's got to have this romantic storyline with Elektra Lopez. Why?
Because they're just so sexy, Pete. Look at the sexy people. I mean, look at him. Look at him. That's a sexy man. Sexy man. Sexy man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sure, whatever. I just don't get why you got to do it when you could not do it, you know? There's the option to not.
Yeah. There's always the option to just not.
Just put on some good matches, you know? You did well on this week. Put on some good matches. This is what you did. Just do that more.
Yeah. That's
Yes,
very simple.
that's his intangible. Xyon Quin's intangible is sexy man.
I think this is,
Yes.
I think everything else is surface level stuff. The real reason that we hate NXT 2.0 is they got rid of the intangibles.
Right?
I have nothing to look forward to now.
Exactly.
They killed our gimmick.
That was the thing that I liked about every episode. It never failed to make us laugh. Unlike this show with the comedy skits, which did fail to make me laugh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Was this the last thing on the show? Are we done?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
I don't remember.
We got the announcement.
Can I be honest really quick?
Yeah.
I fell asleep while I watched this show, and I had to watch it twice.
I'm unsurprised. I'll be real.
So
yeah.
I watched this all out of order. I don't know what happened when.
That's fine. What happened next was we got the announcement of NXT WarGames.
WarGames.
Not takeover.
Someone play the clip of Steve from that one Quizzlemania.
From that one Quizlemania.
It's a bloody WarGames.
It's bloody WarGames.
They didn't even have
takeover.
Regal.
No.
Oh, is it not?
It's not takeover. It's just NXT WarGames.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think they've dropped the takeover name, which, to be honest, I'm in favor of. Keep the sanctity of takeover, meaning that there has never been a bad takeover.
That's a solid point.
Yeah.
At that point, Takeover will have like the best track record of any special wrestling show ever.
Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm for it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's NXT WarGames. WarGames! I wonder who's
What are they going to do this time? They can't book, the thrown together group against the Undisputed Era like they did like 5 times in a row.
Let's one up it. It's going to be the thrown together group versus the thrown together group. It's going to make perfect sense.
Yeah. Whatever. I've never liked the NXT WarGames matches, personally.
They're fine.
Like, there's been like
fun.
there's a good one here and there, but I think a lot of them are kind of overbooked. And that was the old NXT.
To be fair,
I'm terrified
you
now.
saying that they didn't have Regal announce WarGames. They haven't had Regal. Full stop.
Yeah.
On NXT.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's my man. Where he go?
WarGames. That's a good point, by the way. A-Bomb FM, goodness me, my eyes. They'll announce the teams on Twitter like Survivor Series.
They will too. We don't even have factions here anymore, really. Like, unless you want to
Toxic Attraction.
Yeah, unless you want to put together a team to face the Diamond Mine or something, and I don't think that's the direction.
No. It depends if they still want to do a 4v4 or whether they can change up the numbers, which I wouldn't recommend. But I mean, they could do like 2 tag teams kind of thing as like a tag team WarGames.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway.
Again, book WarGames when WarGames is necessary. It's like Hell in a Cell. Don't just book
or Extreme Rules or anything
Extreme Rules
else.
Or TLC. Don't just, which is a bad example because they're not booking TLC this year, but you know what I mean. Gimmick pay-per-views are bad. Except for like the Royal Rumble. That's the only good one.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. But that has stakes for WrestleMania, so it makes sense in the placement of the year.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Whatever.
Kyle O'Reilly's backstage saying he's got his eyes on the tag team titles. Sucks to be Kyle O'Reilly. Sorry, bud.
Imperium walked up. They're like, haha, tiny man, you want these? And then Von Wagner showed up, and they were like, haha, never mind.
Yep.
That was a segment. Cool. Poor
Kyle
Kyle.
O'Reilly and Von Wagner are a team. Like a proper team now.
Can't win, though. They're building to them being able to win.
Yeah, which means they've still got, which means they're going to get a tag title match like next week, right?
Hate the show. Oh man. Yeah.
Gee, and indeed, golly. Then we got the main event that we've already spoken about, Pete Dunne and Carmelo Hayes. It feels like we've been really negative on this show. And I didn't mean to be, because I did like the show more than normal.
Mm-hmm.
But...
You know, I still think the issue that I have is the things that I like on this show don't matter.
Yeah.
And they spend so much time on stuff that really don't matter. Like, nothing on NXT 2.0 actually matters. None of the matches, none of the skits, none of the finishes, none of that. None of these things are actually building to anything. Like, even when you've got something like the Gargano and Carmelo Hayes thing, the matches building up to them don't matter. Because you can have Carmelo lose and it doesn't matter. I don't think Pete Dunne's going to be added to this match. Maybe he will. Maybe I'm wrong, but the episode can be okay. The show is bad.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I like it. I didn't mention my thing that I was going to say about the overall feeling of the show. Someone compared it to Raw, right? And they say, Poker Showdown, it's like Raw. It's not like current Raw. This is like 2008, 2009, 2010 Raw.
Yeah, you watch your dirty whore mouth talking about 2008 Raw.
The peak John Cena celebrity guest host bad times. Those Raws. This is what it feels like. Because you've got, look at the sexy women. Aren't they just so sexy? Mm-hmm. You've got stupid comedy skits that don't make anyone laugh. You've got Poker Showdown in the ring next week, and the prominence of the comedy skits and the sketches over the actual wrestling. All of it just feels like old Raw, but bad.
No, you know what this feels like?
But you know what I mean?
Yeah. This feels like really old Raw. This feels like 95 Raw.
Oh, God.
Where you've got Duke the Dumpster Drosy and TL Hopper the Plumber and the Goon. Yeah. And it's exactly the same. You've got a poker player. You've got a social justice warrior, sort of. You've got X, Y, and Z. You've got a stereotypical, forget about it, gabagool, sleeping with the fishes, Italian guy. You know, you've got Andre Chase, a teacher. And when I don't want to put everything on Bruce Pritchard, but I don't like Bruce Pritchard. And when I see him go out in interviews and be like, oh yeah, the Red Rooster was a great gimmick. Why wouldn't we book the Red Rooster? And then he comes back to the company and all of a sudden NXT turns into this. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, it's okay. Going over the very low bar that NXT 2.0 is set, this was maybe like a mid to high 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I think it's a 3 out of 5.
If they'd have done good booking in the main event, if Carmelo had won in the main event, maybe even clean, I reckon I'd have given this a 4. But they didn't.
I agree. Yeah. Again, that main event would have been like the best thing on NXT. Maybe since the changeover to 2.0, sure. Match was really, really good. They just don't know how to book wrestling.
They really don't. They have no idea what wrestling is anymore.
Absolutely a shame.
Nor do I don't think. Oh my God. This show is killing me. Let's get into the rest of your Ultrachats. Also, we're sponsored by Beer 52. Who are amazing people. Go check them out at beer52.com/WrestleTalk. Thank you for sponsoring this episode, Beer 52. They've been sponsoring us a whole bunch lately. They're amazing. Go check them out. 10 free beers for UK viewers only. Craft awesome beers. Go get them. beer52.com/WrestleTalk. UK viewers only. But let's get into the rest of your Ultrachats here. Last chance to get those in. Riot DR says, Jacket time. Jacket time. Sounds pretty... asterisk to me.
No. Asterisk. 4 of them. The people
how many
did I
say?
You said 3.
Oh, God damn it.
Which would be sounds pretty ass to me. I don't think this sounds pretty ass. I think this sounds pretty something else.
Yeah.
Either way, it's pretty sus.
Sure is. Plasma PT says, "Morning LIW. Hope you guys are okay. So I went back to watch NXT starting in 2020, and I'm sad we can never have Undisputed Era Imperium WarGames match. My God, that would have been good, huh?"
Yep. I think I said that in my personal NXT video on Tempest the Wrestler YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Where, yeah, that's like that's the one time that they should have done WarGames, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, WWE. The legit underboss says, "I'm terrified of the thought of this NXT roster in a WarGames match." Yeah.
Christ almighty, I hadn't even thought, like,
yeah,
better not see a developmental WarGames match.
I don't know, man. I'm not pumped about the prospect of it. Trenton Brown says, "A thrown together group versus the thrown together group led by Kyle O'Reilly. Keep the Undisputed Era spirit going."
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be bad. Renee Corpus says, "Makes me sad for what's happening to Kushida's booking, but at the same time, I love their entrance music. Also, love for Tempest from Salga area."
Shout out to you. I have family in Mississauga.
Cool.
Yeah. I like Mississauga. Mississauga's cool. There are parts of Toronto I don't like. That's a good one.
Trenton Brown says, "Tempest whipping out Yu-Gi-Oh cards has bumped him up into becoming top 3 favorite WrestleTalk members." Top 3?
Top
should
3.
Be 1 and 2. What are you on about?
Well, we're running over time, but I don't think there's really any other gimmicks that I can make. I did my Yu-Gi-Oh Survivor Series team in the podcast extras, so make sure you check that out.
Yeah,
when
the audio exclusive
version,
or if you're a member on this channel, press the join button if you haven't yet, by the way. For the members, you get to see the video versions of those exclusive intros and outros, so you can watch that with his Yu-Gi-Oh Survivor Series team.
Yeah, oh, I got another one. Let's watch the Butcher and the Buster Blader.
Oh, that's good.
I like him too.
Nice.
Yeah. You can keep. Is that the last one? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is the last one. I was like, oh, let me get more Yu-Gi-Oh puns in there. But if we're done, we're done.
That'll have to wait until Saturday when we talk about SmackDown and Rampage, where we'll probably talk about Yu-Gi-Oh more, I guess. I don't know. But that is going to do it for this episode of the NXT podcast. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. And if you're watching on Catch Up, please press the videos that have just appeared on the screen to catch up with more awesome WrestleTalk podcast content. Stay tuned for the Full Gear predictions tomorrow on this very channel, where it's going to be Luke versus Ollie. Ollie will win. He will lay down for me at Survivor Series, and I will continue being your Jam That Champion, the greatest Jam That Champion of all time. It's going to be a great time. Go check it out. Become a pledge hammer over on our Patreon page. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Press the things on the screen. Stay tuned for the content. I've been Chopper Pete Quin, your Jam That Champion. I've been joined by Tempest the Wrestler, your Quizzlemania champion. LIW for life. Jam That Jam.